Welcome to Badminton Unlimited, your weekly access to badminton action and beyond. This week, we catch up with Minatsu Mitani, Japan's former #1 women's singles player, as she talks about the pressures of being at the top. And we're back in Bali to find out how this paradise island is hoping to develop players to rival the best in Indonesia. Japan has a record of producing exciting young talent, with Akane Yamaguchi just the latest in a line of prodigies. The 17-year-old has been named Most Promising Player of the Year for the last 2 seasons after an impressive senior debut. With strong finishes at the World Superseries tournaments, including a final at the China Open and a semi-final finish in Dubai, she's the player to watch out for in the women's singles category this year. Before the arrival of Yamaguchi, though, there was another young female Japanese shuttler who burst onto the scene in similar fashion.
I'm 23 years old, Minatsu Mitani. I play women's singles.
Badminton Unlimited sat down with Japan's former leading women's singles player as she told us about her rise to fame and the difficulties she faced in keeping pace with the nation's emerging young stars. 3 years ago, Minatsu Mitani became Japan's biggest prospect to reach the elite of women's singles badminton after becoming the first Japanese to win a World Superseries title.
When I won the French Open back in 2012, many people congratulated me. They told me how great it was to win. But because I just started playing at the Super Series level, I wasn't fully aware of what it meant to win the title, to win a Super Series title. I was just taking one match at a time, and the next thing I knew, I won. The win came as a shock. I was actually more surprised than I was happy.
At 5 feet 2 inches, Mitani's petite stature may look a disadvantage, but not so. She makes up for the lack of height with incredible athleticism on court.
I am short and I lack power. Because I'm not so physically strong, I'm good defensively. I'm good at running around the court to retrieve any shot to the point it frustrates my opponent.
Mitani's strength lies in her superb defensive skills, thwarting her opponent's attack and wearing them down. And that's not all in her arsenal. Her timing when attacking and crafty disguised shots make her unpredictable. Buoyed by her Paris performance, Mitani followed up with 2 Super Series semi-finals, and by early 2013, the Japanese shuttler broke into the world's top 10. Now seen as a new challenger in the singles format, her peers started to take notice.
Since I won the title, other players have started to study my game and analyze the way I play. I found what used to work before no longer works now. It was very tough, but all good players must learn to overcome this. So it was important that I develop my game and tactics.
In a highly competitive domain such as the women's singles category, Mitani found it hard to maintain her momentum at the top. She also had to cope with other younger Japanese players who began to make their mark on the international circuit. With Akane Yamaguchi winning her first World Superseries title that season, and Sayaka Takahashi moving up in the world rankings, they began to challenge Mitani's position as the nation's top female player. The pressure proved too much and her form dipped. She slipped out of the top 10 towards the end of 2013.
I didn't particularly feel the pressure for another title, but I knew I needed to win to maintain my ranking. So due to the stress to perform well, the pressure to get results, I wasn't playing my best.
2014 saw Japan's new teenage sensation, Akane Yamaguchi, dominate the headlines. And with the men's national team winning their first ever Thomas Cup title, they too became the focus of the nation. Being out of the spotlight worked in Mitani's favor. Without the pressures to deliver results, she was able to do what she does best: play badminton. The shuttler surprised everyone by grabbing the bronze at the World Championships, the first in singles for a Japanese woman in 37 years. Though she lost out to top seed Li Shuirui of China in the semi-finals, it was her performance en route to the last four that impressed. Mitani eliminated the defending world champion Ratchanok Intanon in the last 16 and Korea's number one Song Ji-hyun in the quarters.
When I won the bronze medal, I was congratulated by many around me, and I was very happy. But I'm not sure if I deserved the bronze, or if I was good enough to win the bronze. But this has certainly given me the confidence that I can beat top players. It has definitely encouraged me as a player. But at the same time, I'm afraid it might bring unnecessary pressure.
Winning the bronze has given Mitani the confidence on court, but it's the mental toughness that she lacks, and she recognizes it's an area that needs improving.
I'm not strong mentally. It is difficult to maintain the right level. When I'm psychologically ready, it's great. But when I'm not, it will continue to spiral downwards. So I need to work on my mental strength. To become a better player, I have to overcome this barrier. I need to be able to lift myself out of tough times.
If Minatsu Mitani can overcome the pressure that comes with being on top, no obstacles will be too difficult for the Japanese player as she plots her way back to the top of women's singles. In this week's trivia, we want to know who this person is. He or she is only 24 years old, has amassed 12 World Superseries titles and won medals at both the World Championships and Olympics. We reveal all after the break. We're in Bali next as we follow up on the development being done to develop world-class players on this tourist hotspot. Before the break, we asked you if you recognize this person. It's none other than China's Li Shuirui. The 24-year-old is the reigning women's singles Olympic champion. She won back-to-back World Superseries finals in 2012 and 2013. She is the current world number one in the women's singles and was voted BWF Female Player of the Year in 2013. Indonesia. Badminton fans will have noticed that Southeast Asia's biggest nation is also one of the world's major forces in the sport. With over 250 million inhabitants, the country has one of the largest talent pools to pick its finest players in order to continue its proud badminton heritage. Champions from past and present have come from all over the archipelago. Women's singles' first ever Olympic winner, Susi Susanti, hailed from Tasikmalaya, a city in West Java. While in men's doubles, Asian Games gold medalist Muhammad Ahsan and Hendra Setiawan started out their respective journeys from Palembang in South Sumatra and Pemalang, a regency of Central Java. It is this kind of success that has inspired one province to be part of a national cause.
It is obvious that our biggest hope is that the interest in badminton here continues to grow, and it will help to produce top quality players. Overall, this is not just about bringing up the good name of Bali, but Indonesia ultimately.
Recently on this show, we featured Bali's hosting of the Jarum Superliga, one of Indonesia's premier badminton events. Already world famous as a tourist attraction, it is hoped that by holding a high-profile tournament such as this will help promote the island as a sporting destination as well.
If we talk about Bali, it is inevitable that everybody knows about it. Maybe even when the badminton players hear that the event is to be held here, they will be happy to come. But as hosts, we have to prepare a venue that is more presentable and one that meets international standards. The government already has plans to build one in Pechatu because actually they have launched the Bali International Sports Week. It's an event to showcase various international sports tournaments. These include football, motocross, golf and many others.
Ada golf, ada semua dalam waktu seminggu.
PBSI, the National Association, was also on hand to help facilitate the organisation of the event. It hopes that with this experience on their resume, both the local administrators and players will reap the benefits.
Disinilah mungkin kita bisa memfasilitasi mereka.
This is where we are able to help them by giving them a clearer picture of what to expect. Whether they are players or officials, we show them how it is like to play or manage a big event like this. The impact will be positive for Balinese players. We've also made it such that they can come and watch for free.
Berikan fasilitas khusus buat mereka datang for free.
Atlet-atletnya ini harus didampingi.
The players must be accompanied by their coaches so that they will know what needs to be done to be a good badminton player, like footwork, shot techniques, and strategies. We can learn a lot from this kind of event.
Di sinilah kita bisa lihat dengan kejuaraan seperti ini dilakukan.
Youth development is a primary focus for PBSI Bali. As the provincial body, it oversees the nurturing of budding talents amongst the 8 regencies and capital city, Denpasar. Even with limited funding, it hasn't stopped administrators from helping players to progress.
Bibit-bibit atlet-atlet yang junior itu banyak.
Here we have many junior players who possess good abilities. We gather all 36 players at our center, as well as including the winners of the various age groups. We also select at least one player from each regency, even though they hadn't won but showed enough potential during tournaments. Sometimes, their managers have to fork out their own money to help these kids, because funds are too small even with the government's help. We are grateful though that despite these challenges, we had the only 2 players outside Java who were invited to the recent Indonesia Junior Masters.
Dalam Junior Master itu hanya Bali 2 orang.
The solid foundation has also led to one of their own, women's doubles player Niketot Mahadewi Estarani being included in this year's national squad. These positives reaffirm the need for all agencies involved to share the same vision.
Kalau tidak maju atlet-atlet daerahnya, apa artinya?
If the players from these districts don't do well, what is the point of having a center of development in the province without good players? The bulk of talent comes from these districts. So if they were to produce quality players, there is a working relationship between us. It can't be only us at the association who wants to do well in the sport. The people here need to feel the same way too, if we want to produce quality players. When there's support, we will aim to host more international competitions.
Selalu kami arahkan untuk ke Bali, itu tujuannya kami. Kalau bisa di Bali ini dibangun.
If we're able to build a badminton school, it will help a lot. And if adequate training is given to the coaches, I'm convinced Bali will be more accomplished in the future.
Bisa berjaya ke depan.
With the success of hosting the Jarum Superliga and a formula in place for talent progression, Bali is hopefully on the road to success. It may not be long before the players from this paradise island are rubbing shoulders with their more illustrious Indonesian compatriots. After the break, we check out the best badminton club in South Korea and its contribution to the national team.
On courts is men's singles. The reigning world and Olympic champion Lindan, and is up against one of the all-time great Danish players, Peter Gade. The second of the men's singles semi-finals gets underway.
Noticeably quicker first point from Lindan than previous matches this week. Oh, great shot. Great shot. Lindan anticipating straight recovery backhand there. Flip to the rear court, makes Lindan play the defensive backhand. Takes advantage of the space. Desperate dive from Lindan.
Brilliant.
You could see Peter hesitate. He wanted to go early, but he wasn't sure which way it was going. It's too quick and too accurate.
For the contrast and the amount of court covered in that rally, it was quite remarkable. Lindan just seemed to stay on his base position, lunge forward to the net. That's too wide. 21-12 confirms the umpire. Well, Peter Gader is absolutely determined.
Yeah, he's got to find a way to negate that speed and take that speed out.
Oh, that is so quick once again. Nicely done. And he's marching his way towards his target. That's going to go wide. And Lindan converts. 21-12, 21-15, and Peter Gader desperately disappointed. But in all honesty, he was beaten by a better man today.
Decades of sustained quality has established South Korea as an East Asian powerhouse in the field of badminton. In 2010, they won the Uber Cup, defeating hot favourites and 11-time champions China 3-1. At the 2014 BWF World Championships, the pairing of Ko Sung-hyun and Shin Baek-chul claimed the men's doubles title after defeating compatriots Lee Yong-dae and Yoo Yeon-seong in a 3-set thriller. One of the reasons behind the country's success is due to a vibrant domestic club structure. One of these is the Samsung Electromechanics Badminton Club. Established in April 1996, the club is based in the city of Suwon, just on the outskirts of the capital Seoul. Kim Mon-soo has been with the club since its inception. The 51-year-old, an Olympic champion at the 1992 men's doubles, has been instrumental in the coaching development setup.
The club was created to develop a positive image of Samsung Electromechanics. We aim to attain good international performances and recognition in the long term. We scout for players after their university graduation, and we focus them on major competitions such as the Asian Games, the Olympics, and the World Championships. Players are given the necessary preparation for tournaments so that they can achieve their best for the South Korean national team.
Samsung Electromechanics also utilizes the players for its annual domestic league competitions.
With the exception of the national players, The rest of them in the club are heavily active in the domestic competitions. There are 5 to 6 domestic games organized by the Korean Badminton Association. These are seasonal games along with the Korean League competition for the various company teams in the country. At the end of the year, there is a domestic final to decide the best club in the country. I am proud to say that Samsung Electromechanics Men's Club holds the record for having won this competition undefeated throughout the tournament.
The club has a proud tradition of international success. Since its formation in 1996, the club has produced an Olympic medalist for every edition, right up to 2012. So, what's been the secret to its success?
We receive substantial financial support from Samsung, and this enables us to create an environment that allows players to reach their highest potential. The players are also very dedicated in training. Presently, we are focused on getting a medal at next year's Olympic Games in Brazil. Our goal is to help Lee Yong-dae, Kim Hana, Kim Ki-jung and Kim Sarang to win a medal at the Olympics. Our coaches are working hard with them to ensure that they pick at the right time for the big event. I would say everyone realizes the amount of hard work involved, and they are serious about realizing their dreams and ambitions.
Samsung Electromechanics Badminton Club also has a strong emphasis on youth development. And the great sense of unity evident amongst the players has helped to mold and nurture them in the right direction.
The club supports the youth team, which comprises of players from the various primary, middle and high schools. The stadium here provides good facilities for practice. The experience and advice they gain from their senior players is invaluable. This is a unique feature of the club as we actively promote the culture of sharing experiences in order for everyone to benefit. This, I believe, is something that only Samsung Electromechanics Badminton Club is doing and is one of the reasons for our success.
The club currently has 16 players involved at the highest level, 9 of whom are in the South Korean national team. Yet, the club remains successful due to its strong sense of affinity with its players.
제가 처음에 입단한 시기는 2007년도에 입단했고요.
I joined Samsung Electromechanics in 2007, and this has been the team that I really wanted to join. My target is to keep working hard and to produce good results on the court for the club.
열심히 지금 운동하고 있습니다.
The company supports us very well in terms of providing the right nutrition and diet for our meals. Accommodation is provided as well. It's things like this that help us in our preparation for the competition ahead. All the players have a very strong desire to do well for the club when given the chance. That is why we are very competitive on court.
The company provides excellent support for the players. This way, they can be focused and dedicated entirely on the training sessions. The players themselves reciprocate the company's trust by giving their best on the court. When such high level of supports exist, I believe the good results will continue. This will also be critical for the long-term success of the club.
Sustained success is often a tough challenge in sports. Samsung Electromechanics Badminton Club has developed a winning blueprint. And judging by its track record, an impressive medal haul beckons in Rio de Janeiro. Here's what's happening on the international circuit as we look through our Badminton Unlimited calendar. Next week on Badminton Unlimited, we catch up with South Korea's top men's singles player Son Won-ho. And we're in New Zealand for the latest edition of the Oceania Confederation Championships. See you next week.